Hello and welcome. I am so excited to be here with you to talk about embracing and trusting your intuition. This is something that I hear from women so often, and yet it's something that most women really do know is there, but they're questioning it. They're wondering, how do I know that that was my intuition? Or how do I know that I can trust that? And as you begin to take the practices on to identify the difference and identify if that was a gut feeling or if it was an intuition or if it was like, if any of you are mothers out there, you know what mother's intuition is. And so all of these things are your guidance system speaking to you. So your intuition is literally your navigational system for what to do in life. And I want you to be honest with yourself. You may have heard something like, get up, go for a walk, drink a green smoothie, or something very simple, and you didn't even listen to that. So if you think that you're going to develop your intuition and learn how to trust it on a deeper level when you haven't even listened to it on a small level, then it's very unlikely that you're going to develop this relationship. It truly is a relationship with this deeper knowing part of yourself, and then trust it even further. So if you're beginning to get some little guidances, or you even have tools that help you with this, for example, tarot cards or angel cards, or sitting in meditation and listening, or praying and listening, then you will begin to develop that muscle of knowing exactly what your intuition is trying to tell you and being able to take action or not take action on something. Because sometimes our intuition tells us something and we go, oh, I shouldn't do that, or that wasn't the right thing for me. And sometimes we take action anyhow and go after something that we really want, maybe from the neck up, and our intuition is telling us not now or later. When you identify these little things that are teaching you, do this or go here or call this person, and you begin to listen, you might even want to journal them so that you have an account for when your intuition was telling you to do something and you listened or you didn't listen, and then what the outcome was. So perhaps even a 3-column thing where you're identifying what the intuition said, what you did, and what the outcome was, so that you will begin to see patterns and you will begin to know when to trust, when not to trust. You'll begin to see what happened as a result of you believing in the intuition and really listening to it. One of the biggest and best examples that I have for you is the School of Feminine Fortune. It is literally probably one of the biggest dreams that I have ever dreamed. And it came from a place of me feeling like I had so much confusion. I had gone to a Tony Robbins conference, and in one sentence, he changed everything for me, personally and professionally. And what he said to me first was, why have you not brought on associate coaches in your business? And I didn't have an answer for him in that moment, but in hindsight, I realized I had a belief somewhere that I had to be at a certain point in my coaching business in order to bring associate coaches on, and that actually wasn't true. And then when I got home, I had a couple of other course of events occur. One of my clients had said, you know, Rebecca, you're so incredible in your coaching sessions with me, and I just feel like you're so much more than the get it done coach. There's this spiritual part of you, there's this feminine strength part of you, and the value and the tremendous transformation that I'm receiving from you in our coaching sessions together is so much more than just what is on your website. And I feel like you need to convey that more. And it was brilliant for me to hear that. And at the same time, it put me into a place of, how do I communicate? What is my brand? What is it even going to be? And I went through a really challenging period of not knowing, one of my least favorite places to be, where I just was like, what is the brand and what am I doing and how do I communicate it into the marketplace? And it wasn't that I stopped doing business or stopped coaching at all. It was that I was more going in to do some self-inquiry and also working with other people to help me pinpoint it. But when the title wasn't coming and when the information wasn't coming, it was making me more and more frustrated. So there are certain times, even in embracing and trusting your intuition, where there's an incubation period. There's the law of incubation, and you need to heed to that. And you need to follow the intuition even then which might say, sit still, be quiet, there's an answer on its way, instead of trying to push and push and push. And for those of you who have children and have been pregnant like myself, you know that when you're pregnant in month 5 and you want to have that baby come out, you're not going to have it come out. You have to wait and be patient. And so take a moment right now to just think about where you might need to be more patient with yourself, with something that is in the incubation phase, or anything else for that matter, and what is your intuition truly telling you? So when I finally chose to heed to the law of incubation and get comfortable in this not knowing space, little pieces kept coming, little pieces of the puzzle. I would work with a branding expert and she brought in some information that was helpful to me to see myself through a different lens. And we came up with this trilogy video series that I didn't even have a name for at the time. What I created was the Feminine Fortune trilogy series, where I address what kind of an entrepreneur are you? We go into, are you the always broke entrepreneur? Are you the leaky bucket entrepreneur? Or are you the masterful entrepreneur? And it wasn't until about a day before I hired someone to come shoot this video trilogy series that I even came up with a name for it. I had gotten on the phone with a mastermind partner, and she and I were brainstorming different names. We were looking things up on thesaurus and etymology and all these different websites to come up with something. And I'm like, I have to have a name for this trilogy series. And it wasn't exactly coming in that moment. And then the next day it just popped. And she said, what about Feminine Fortune? And I was like, oh my gosh, that is it. And not too long after that, I was sitting in a meditation and I received very clear guidance to bring on apprentices and to create the School of Feminine Fortune. And as you are seeing and experiencing it live, you can see what it is like to have a giant dream dreamt through you. And when you heed to the call of the direction that you're getting and you take this leap of faith, a huge leap of faith, that miracles are born and that this school was born because I chose to continue to get comfortable in the uncomfortable unknowingness and then go and sit in silence and listen for what my next steps were. Not my next 20 steps, but my next steps for that day. And when you take the time to sit and get clear and hear guidance and begin to develop this relationship with knowing that was my intuition, that was God speaking to me. I'm going to take this step, or I'm going to not take this step, or I'm going to go sit and get quiet. And you go back to the well for wisdom over and over and over again. This is not a once and done thing. So if you need an example of what it looks like to trust your intuition in a really big way, this is the School of Feminine Fortune. And I know that you are already on your path to up-leveling in such an incredible way and trusting your intuition even grander in each moment. Listen, it's speaking to you.